Alright, what's up guys? Here today with Ryan Carter. We're going to do another hunting hero and we're going to talk to him about hunting and what got him into hunting. So let's get some background information on you. What got you into hunting?
I grew up hunting with my grandpa. I kind of faded away. Your age, I was probably doing a lot of skateboards and dirt bikes. Then as I got older, had a few more dirt bike wrecks. I got back into bow hunting. That's kind of fed the fuel ever since.
Is bow hunting your favorite hunting? Or like, what weapon would you choose if you had one to choose from?
That's the only thing I hunt with, yeah.
Nice.
I do have an old rifle and I have a decent inline muzzleloader. Neither have been shot in 15 years, so.
What has been your favorite hunt over these last couple years, last few years that you've guided or you've hunted yourself?
Well, I guess I'd have to say probably that whitetail I killed last year. When I'm hunting for myself, it's a lot different than when I'm guiding. Guiding's work, and it's fun and rewarding, but it's not relaxing.
Yeah.
So, that whitetail that's in the room over there is probably one of my favorite hunts I've had in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. As far as guiding hunts and elk hunts, probably this bull. The bull I put the hardest work into, and so when it all came together, it meant a lot more. I don't know if I could say it was fun. It was a lot of work. Kyle was fun. The hunter was a lot of fun. But trying to get everything put in place, that was a ton of work. So I've had some good ones.
Deep down, what is hunting to you if you had to describe it in a couple words?
A couple words? Therapeutic, rewarding, I don't know. I'd really have to think about that. There's a part of hunting for me that's it gives you a sense of identity. It gives you a sense of, I mean, it's kind of your relaxing time, right? I don't know if you guys can see, I have 3 daughters and a wife, and hunting for me is getting out of the house, right?
Yeah.
It's giving me my me time. But it does give you a sense of identity, a sense of fellowship. You get to go out with the boys and do whatever it is, whether you're shed hunting or bow hunting or hanging cameras. That's my time to be me. And so that's where, if I was to find some word, it might be some kind of word that would reflect identity for me.
Nice. If you had to describe conservation and what we do as hunters, what would you describe that as?
Conservation and hunting. Gee, we could talk about that all day. I think we could manage animals without hunting. I don't think that it is an absolute necessity. I think it is an outlet. Hunting is a key that provides a lot of people with the food they take home, knowing it's clean, knowing it's organic. It provides them with a sense of therapy. It gives them purpose to head up into the mountains, do some things. Hunting, trophy hunting has its place as well. Taking the oldest animals out of the herds is a really big, important step. Hunting cows is a little different. Killing matriarchs will change the pattern of a herd. Killing patriarchs allows the younger bulls to come in and breed. An old bull, and I know you can't see it, but an old bull like this one will only breed maybe 40 or 50 cows a year tops. A young bull like this one would probably breed 100 to 120 depending on the herds. I mean, they will go and go and go and go. So taking bulls like this out and allowing bulls like that has huge perks, and that's an advantage to hunters, and it's an advantage to trophy hunting. Conservation itself is such a deep conversation. We could sit and talk about that all day. Yes, I think it's important. We do share the same stomping grounds. Right here where I used to live, used to have a decent herd. Now there's no elk here. I get a few come down off the face, but not like they used to. So we have to manage the ground together, so we have to manage the herds. It's not a question of if we do it, we have to do it. And by managing the herds and being able to hunt them and keep them manageable so they don't starve to death, it's important. And some people don't see it that way, but I think hunters see it in a different light.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah, we're gonna break down some stories on some bulls that he's killed. Can't even fit it all into one frame. This is MJ.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay, so this is MJ. He's, I don't remember, I think he was 53 or 54 on his inside. So if you got all that in there. This bull was an archery kill. He was killed by Kyle Ostrin last year, 2017. Hunted him. Kyle hunted him for 19 days. I spent, I think it was 54 days, 53 or 54 days before it was all said and done, patterning that bull, and then Kyle sitting on him. He was a hard bull to rotate. We've had trail camera pictures of this bull since 2013. Scott Bergera did a lot of work on that because most of my pictures were from 15 on. Just an old bull, probably one of the older ones that are there right now. I think he was 11 last year. We keep a pretty close eye on these bulls. So mostly through trail camera. Where this bull lives, there's no glassing points, there's no overhangs or ridges to glass from. It's on a plateau, and he's kind of in a dark north face. And so this bull we had to hunt with trail cameras. And I think I ran close to 40 cameras trying to figure out his pattern before we got a crack at trying to kill him.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But Kyle did a good job of it. Once he finally did get a shot, but even before the shot, we put him up in an originally tree stand. It was the only tree stand I was getting day clips of him. That one was a little slow. Moved him into a second one. He was seeing a lot more elk passing on bulls. He walked in on him on day 3, walking into a stand in the dark. Kind of busted him out of there for another 10 days. But once it did finally come back together, we had to switch him through a couple of spots before we eventually got him into the pocket where he walked in and out of the meadow every time. And then once we did that, he was done. Kyle did a good job. It was a lot of sitting. I've sat, I think my longest tree stand sits have been about 7 days. Kyle was in tree stand 19 days before he had a shot, so really commendable on his end.
That thing is insane.
Yeah, lots of character on that bull. He's always been high and wide. All my pictures of him, 14, 15, those 2 years, almost every picture we had, which wasn't a ton, maybe a dozen, his tongue was out. And so between the width and the tongue being out, that's why we called him MJ, after Michael Jordan. He's carried that name for quite a few years. He's never had this kind of status. Seemed like 16, I don't think he was this big. 16, I think he was 390-ish. 15 was the year that I thought he was pushing 4. Straight 7. His G4s and G5s were almost the same lengths, tipped in a little bit. But his G6s were smaller. He didn't have this extra point, but his beams were about the same, and so he was pushing the 4 mark then. But this was the year he really blew up. And we didn't go in to hunt him because he was the biggest. Kyle picked this bull because he was the widest. That's why he went after this one.
Seems so wide.
So this is Donna Pickett's bull from 2015. This bull, I think it went 407, archery kill. Probably one of the bigger kills, archery kills by a woman for the state of Utah. Yeah, you gotta come up here, it's way cooler. That bull's just as wide as that bull, but because his frame crowns a little more, you don't see it. Unless maybe you come stand right here. But she killed this bull opening weekend, second day. And what's crazy, so show him this bull. This bull here scores 368. It's a Nebo bull, a bull I killed in 2003. And then you look at this bull, way bigger.
Oh yeah.
It's like that bull on steroids. And what's crazy is the tine lengths between those two bulls are almost the same. G1s, G2s, G3s, all the way back. Big difference is that bull down there has a 38-inch inside, and this bull has a 53. That bull has a 48-inch or 49-inch beam. This bull's 60. This bull was 52 or 4 inches of mass, and this one was 65. If I remember right. No, I may not remember that right. But all those numbers, I mean, the beams alone, that's 23 inches between the two. So that's where frames will screw guys up when they're elk hunting. A lot of guys just do tines. They do the math on tines really fast. I only thought this bull was 374 till the day she shot it. Till he came walking in at 30 yards. I had him in the mid 370s and didn't think much about it. But I made the mistake everybody else does, is we start doing our time length measurements and we don't add in a great frame. That bull's a giant. But you can see the coloring on the horns, they're a little lighter. He had stripped his velvet 2 days before the hunt, so he only was 3 days without velvet before she killed him. And he was down in the desert country. We killed him down in the oak brush. So he's got a little bit of different color to him, but giant bull, especially with a bow.
Oh yeah. That's a big bull.
Yeah. Yeah, these are my whitetails. This one's Iowa, the one I was talking about earlier. Iowa's been a dream hunt for me. And so, where most of my leases, we kill these 130 type bucks. It was nice to go on the state where we were pushing a better caliber. So we had seen a couple that we thought might break the 150 mark, past them. And that's about where I thought he was when I shot him, but he's a little better. He scores upper 160s, which is nice. But this kind of hunting's fun for me. There's not as much stress as the elk.
Yeah.
I hunt them the same as I do elk. They have the same pre-rut patterns. They kind of run the same pinch points, the same runs. I hunt whitetails just like I do elk. But this is the stuff that's fun for me because I don't stress about it.
This is Ryan Carter. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe.